2019, and I'm glad to be the host. Today we have, there are so many things to talk about, but we are going to limit ourselves to just two major subjects. One is the high incidence of crime and violence in the country. What is being done by the stakeholders and those who are supposed to take care of the security situation in the country, or the security agencies, what they are doing, what they have done so far, and where we are headed from here. We are also going to look critically and deeply into the continued detention of the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria. That's talking about Ibrahim el-Zakzaky, and of course his wife. They have been in detention since 2015. We are going to find out what has kept him in detention up till now, and why all the cries, all the orders coming from the court calling for his release have not been heeded, by the government. We're going to find all these ones out, plus other very important issues we're going to thrash out here today on the show. Right now, let's bring you news making headlines. The life of Senator Ademola Adeleke is allegedly under threat. National Publicity Secretary of the Opposition People's Democratic Party, Kola Olabodiyan, who made the allegation in Abuja, says the life of the governorship candidate in the recently conducted Osun gubernatorial election is in danger. Citing Osadebawan reports that the party says with the unsustainable allegation of forged document against their candidate, leaders of the All Progressives Congress are becoming more desperate in the bid to intimidate the principal of the Ede Muslim High School in Osun State. More in this report.
Given the series of unrelenting attacks, threats, and the desperation now being exhibited by the APC, our party has become apprehensive that there are plots to silence Senator Adeleke as a way to terminate his efforts to retrieve his governorship mandate in the courts. He also urges the IGP to order the immediate release of the innocent school principal, the wife of the school registrar, her baby of 9 months. Our party also counselled the APC and their allies to end their schemes against Senator Adeleke, as they will all come to naught in the face of justice and the will of the people of Osun State.
Of the Islamic movement in Nigeria have stormed the United Nations building in Abuja, asking the organization to prevail on the Nigerian government to release their leader Ibrahim el-Zakzaky from the custody of DSS. The group defied the heavy security presence at the UN office and staged a peaceful protest demanding justice for Zakzaky and his wife.
Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, in their numbers again, took their protest for the release of Zakzaky and his wife to the United Nations office in Abuja, asking the officials to intervene in the plight of the religious leader. A representative of the United Nations who received the protest letter from the group also assured that UN will attend to the letter.
We are calling on the United Nations to take a serious action. The United Nations has taken so many actions against so many leaders in the world. There are a lot of people that committed crime against humanity, and the United Nations has done well on that side. We want the United Nations to do this in Africa so that other people will take lessons from Muhammad Buhari.
Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar will be the guest of the Senate next week to explain the upper legislature chamber why the nation suffers serious security challenges, especially in the escalation of armed banditry and kidnapping across the country. The Inspector General of Police will be appearing before the Senate to address the measures the security agency is taking to curtail the increasing insecurity in the country. More in this report.
Kaduna and Niger. Kajuru in Kaduna State is notorious for killings and kidnappings. recall the death of Agon Adara, Dr. Mewadara Fel Galadima, dead last year, who was killed by kidnappers after collecting ransom. It is pathetic to note that this area has become hostile to both visitors and the inhabitants.
Take notes from all those who have been kidnapped in the past, either from state by state or zone by zone. And this will help us to build, some information bank that can help our security agencies in dealing with this matter.
It will have its effect on investment. They say that investment is a coward. Whenever there is trouble anywhere, he wouldn't like to go there. So investment certainly will not come to Nigeria when we have this kind of challenges. Also, tourism will be affected. And these are areas...
Security agencies to immediately deploy the use of drones and interceptors in tracking kidnappers asking for ransom. Those in favor of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The bandits who masterminded the killings of a divisional police officer and 3 others, including a heavily pregnant female officer in Afuze Police Divisional Office, Owan West's council area of Edo State, say they did so in order to free their colleagues from police custody. The bandits disclosed that they selected members of the group from Auchi, Jatu, and Afuze Axis last month before they stormed the divisional headquarters in Afuze, leaving the DPO and 3 other officers on duty dead.
Abaga, 4 of us at 2 sets, now we take out there. The 2 sets where we take out there, some now Jet, some now Ibiao, inside the police station for Afuze. From then we got the, as with the other side, me, now the first police we are seeing now, woman, me got
machine now we steal for Auchi. For Auchi, they go carry us go Afuze police station. Sure. We spent 2 days for there. After the 2 days, at this,
how many do you spend 2 days? How many will be?
3 of us.
Nice steal the machine. How old you dey?
34 years.
Now, the House of Representatives has moved to investigate the non-remittance of stamp duties to the Federation account by the Nigeria Postal Services, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and commercial banks. This was equal to a motion by Goni Buka Lawan, lawmaker from Yobe State in the House of Representatives.
NIPOS entered into an agreement in 2014 to collect stamp duties, an arm with the Master Services Agreement with NIPOS. The school banking owners approached the Central Bank of Nigeria for authorization to engage deposit money banks, DMBS, and other qualified stamp duties, collection agents, and the CVN give required approval.
The intention is to that people are already paying this money, but it is not going to the right channel. A lot of leakages in this country, a lot of money people pay. Countries that we envy, we look up to, live on these levies. That is their main source of revenue.
I hope, and I stand to support this motion, that it will wake up the central bank to note that a lot of money are still with these licensed banks, collected on behalf of government, and perhaps when the motion is passed and they are called to answer questions, it will wake them up to know that something wrong particularly is wrong.
Please let us, in the next 1 week, see if we can get something out of this investigation, because it is so important to those people who are businessmen. 50 naira in so many places means a lot, but to some people they will say 50 naira, what does it?
Any bank, and you do 50 transactions exceeding 1,000 in a day, you are charged 50 naira per all of those transactions. And so you can now imagine how much this 50 naira will accumulate into at the end of the day and by the end of the year. So the contention is that this money is never remitted to the CBN. The commercial banks sit on this money.
And that's news making headlines. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we have a lot more for you on today's package. Stay with us.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about force.
Now, you see, let me
So
say this.
that our soldiers will be free, we should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
The judiciary, third arm of government. What happens here is what we give to you. The arraignments, arguments, rulings, adjournments of cases and judgments. The fight against corruption and issues bordering on human rights violations.
The doctrine of least spenders ought to have been respected, that no arm of government, however powerful, should take the laws into its hands as held by the Supreme Court.
Justice is one way. It's either you go for justice or justice go after you. But I've never seen a situation where an individual is afraid of justice.
We move from court to court to give you updates on legal matters, when they happen and where they are happening, going extra miles to get reactions from the parties, even when they're not in the mood to speak.
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Watch Legal Scope on CoreTV News at this time.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about force.
Now, you see, let me say this.
So that our soldiers will be free, we should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will free give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The authority of the law they pass belongs to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change up. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question.
Great question, Angela.
Angela, that is a very great question. That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
This is an interesting question you pose.
60 Minutes with Angela
Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
The judiciary, third arm of government. What happens here is what we give to you. The arraignments, arguments, rulings, adjournment of cases and judgments. The fight against corruption and issues bordering on human rights violations.
The doctrine of least spenders ought to have been respected, that no arm of government, however powerful, should take the laws into its hands as held by the Supreme Court.
Justice is one way. It's either you go for justice or justice go after you. But I've never seen a situation where an individual is afraid of justice.
We move from court to court to give you updates on legal matters, when they happen and where they are happening, going extra miles to get reactions from the parties, even when they're not in the mood to speak.
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Watch Legal Scope on CoreTV News at this time.
On Digi 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dullards that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
Digi 360, providing clarity to issues.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
The judiciary, third arm of government. What happens here is what we give to you. The arraignments, arguments, rulings, adjournment of cases and judgments. The fight against corruption and issues bordering on human rights violations.
The doctrine of least spenders ought to have been respected, that no arm of government, however powerful, should take the laws into its hands as held by the Supreme Court.
Justice is one way. It's either you go for justice or justice go after you. But I've never seen a situation where an individual is afraid of justice.
We move from court to court to give you updates on legal matters, when they happen and where they are happening, going extra miles to get reactions from the parties, even when they're not in the mood to speak.
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Watch Legal Scope on CoreTV News at this time.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I don't buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will free give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
Nigerians encourage
First up, the Punch newspaper. And Nigerian Governors Forum calls for Okonjo Iweala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
The Daily, every day on CoreTV News.
And of course, that launches the next segment, which is the dailies, where we take a look at the front pages of some of today's Nigerian newspapers and trash out issues, emerging issues on the front pages of some of today's Nigerian dailies. And as usual, I'm not here alone to do this. Of course, you know it will be too much for me to handle. Therefore, special guests, experts, those who know how to go about it, are always around to help us sort things out. And this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome to the program as guests on today's show, Ambrose Iwoke, Public Affairs Analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Nat. Good morning.
Good to have you around.
Thank you very much.
I like your smiles this morning.
Well, it is. Salah said it's suffering and smiling. That's what we see in Nigeria.
You're suffering with this kind of chicks you've got?
Too much carbohydrates causes it.
Please, I will need that carbohydrate too, so my chicks will be as robust
But you
as
know,
yours.
that is what Nigerians eat. You take bread in the morning, you eat eba in the afternoon, you eat yam at night. You know, our staple food is carbohydrates.
But come to think of that, it doesn't seem to be causing any harm, you know, like as against the advice given by nutritionists and all that.
But it is. It's just that many Nigerians don't do preventive medical checkup. A lot of people are already having high blood sugar. They're having diabetes. They have been in the thin line between diabetes. And then because they don't check it, especially those above 40, and then when something happens, they start looking for the spiritual problem that caused it. Not knowing that this
you attribute to spiritual.
Yeah, the spiritual. And they start going to churches, to mosques, to spiritualists, and they all start looking for the person who was responsible for that. It happens a lot, and then we don't know that it was the sugar problem that caused all this, and that a simple dietary change could, you know, solve the problem. There was a case of this man who was in the hospital.
Okay.
And he had a leg injury, and the people were giving him all kinds of carbonated drinks in the name of enjoyment. And they were ascribing it to people in the village who didn't want his success. Only for someone to come and say, how can you, let's check what is, they found out it was diabetes that was affecting the sore on the legs. The leg was almost going, in fact, it was slated for amputation.
Wow.
And then simple dietary instruction, change, remove all these toxic carbonated drinks, do this, do that.
And it was taken care of.
Within 3 months, the leg was healing.
But those in the villages, you know, appear to be living a healthier life, you know, than those in the urban areas.
Yes.
Have you realized that?
Yeah, it is. But even now, the villagers are copying it. You know, most of the time when I go to village, my people will cook spaghetti and all those things for me. I say, for what? I'm trying to avoid this thing. I want to eat this. So the village foods, they are running away from it. They want to imitate the urban people. Why the other people are running to them to try to eat the
and they are running away.
Yes.
And they're shifting towards
exactly. That's the problem. No. So it's a big issue that, you know, we need a lot of sensitization.
That's going to be our discussion for another day, no doubt. Yeah. Okay, right now from the Vanguard, we have a screaming headline there. Why police misuse arms, a kill on duty. This coming from the IGP with riders there. Stops 12-hour, 12-shift work structure in police. Directs a reversal to traditional 8-hour, 3-shift standard. Poor supervision. Wickedness responsible for killings. Serve. Stress is a factor, say doctors. Nigeria at war. This is coming from Shehu Sani. And Senate summons IGP Adamu to appear at plenary next week. We're going to come back to this, but let's go to the upper portion of the paper where we have let governments cut costs for easy implementation of minimum wage. This advice coming from Nigeria Labour Congress. Survey results. Court will rule based on Electoral Act, not social media videos. Kiamo. And ninth NAS leadership. Buhari not supporting any candidate. This affirmation is coming from the presidency itself. Now, over to you, Mr. Iwoke. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. I think this is a welcome development. The Inspector General of Police appears to begin to look into problems, facing the Nigeria police force. There's been a recurrent decimal of issues, security issues, which the police up till this time have not been able to tackle. And it's now the man has settled down to look inwards and find out what the problems are and look for ways and means of providing solution to or profiling solutions to them. I think this is a welcome development, don't you think so?
I will ascribe the Nigerian police issues to, they are multifaceted, but there are some critical ones, like the issue of welfare, the issue of administration, the issue of training, as the critical pillars that are, besieging the Nigerian police.
Okay.
Now, the training they have had is constabulary training of the colonial masters, where the colonial masters used them to subjugate the citizens, what they call the natives then. So we have the native authority, we have the police who were doing the biddings of the masters.
Okay.
So the colonial masters wanted something, the people were resisting, go in there, ensure that they cooperate, beat them if they refuse, arrest them, throw them to jail, kill them if you can.
Wow.
That was the colonial mentality. Now, when we gained independence, we inherited that mentality to the Nigerian police force. So the Nigerian police force still saw the people. Even the military, that's where the name came, bloody civilians, that's okay, them and us. So that them and us issue is what has caused all this. Now, when you go to police college, you still see that. The training has issues too, because the recruits, the people who come, the cadets who come into the Nigerian police, live in inhuman conditions. It's like a slave and master relationship between them and the officers or the men who are training them in the name of instilling discipline. So they are dehumanized. So when you dehumanize somebody in the police academy, when he comes out, he thinks that dehumanization is part of the process. What does he do? He comes to this
and the process continues,
and he dehumanizes. Of course, his organ dehumanized him. So he was his license to carry weapon is uniformed by the federal government. So he uses his power to dehumanize his fellow citizens, and that is how the chain reaction goes until it goes to the down the ladder. So that is the issue of training. The issue of welfare. The Nigerian police is one of the most disregarded and insulted personnel in almost the whole world. I mean,
I won't agree with you. It is almost the whole world.
Almost the whole world, because he buys his uniform. What kind of madness is that?
Okay,
how can a policeman when compared to others?
Okay,
they are supposed to be kitted by the federal government.
Oh, right.
They are supposed to be done, but the policeman will buy his boots. He will buy his uniform. A police is supposed to have nothing less than 5 uniforms. Provided by the federal government. It's supposed to have that, but what does it? It doesn't. So this thing, the allocation, these are allocated for in the budget, but it hangs somewhere. And because of the rigid command structure of the police, you cannot do many things. I mean, it was so bad that for the first time in since Nigeria got independence, policemen were saying, protesting, and saying they won't work because it got to a stage that it became too low. So that is that. Then that is the issue of administration also. And then one of the problems is the mental stress. The Nigerian policeman, the average policeman is not motivated. He retires, he's treated like he has to stand, to collect, he has to move around to collect his pension. If he's killed in action, on duty, his family is suffering. To even claim their pension, they have to travel to Abuja several times.
And it's not
they
like
have to start
after all the stresses, he's still going to get it.
Most of them don't get it. Those who are alive and retired are dying in penury. So there's no motivation. So administrative, they have to start. And then I really commend the IG of police for trying to start somewhere.
Yes.
Because I don't think you can solve the whole problems. But when you start somewhere, how can you ask somebody to work for 12 hours?
Yeah, but I think that issue has been addressed.
That is what is addressing. How can you ask somebody to work for 12 hours? The man is fatigued. Let's say he starts from 12 this night, you ask him to work the 12 the next day. How do you want him to sustain himself? The people that made that kind of rule, do they work for 12 hours too? So,
but there's this other aspect, of what we are talking about now. There are people who want to even overwork, because the longer you stay at your duty post, the more money
No,
you get.
The issue is not about it's about the kind of work they do. It's a very sensitive job. It's security. And security is not administrative work where you are typing up in your computer or something. Security is intelligence gathering. And there's what you call the mental fatigue that sets in at a particular point in time. Even for people who write, there's what you call, at a time you have what you call your writer's block. I mean, you don't know what your brain just is unless you relax. So it's good that he's bringing this 8-hourly shift thing,
really
and they should
commendable.
make sure that it is adhered to, and then we can now start looking at into other issues. I mean, for example, I mean of the radio's work, the radio frequencies on Nigerian police. Can the police hear radio the next man? Let's say there's a crime at Bega in Lagos. Can you radio the next man in Shagamu to say so car number, this and that? What are the cameras they are working with? So it's also a problem of logistics. The fourth dimension is logistics.
There's this apparatus, walkie-talkie or something.
What are they working? How many policemen do you see with? When we were growing up, we see a lot of policemen with walkie-talkies. You hardly not see any policemen. They're always hanging it here. How many policemen do you see today with walkie-talkie? They don't even have shoes. Some of the policemen wear slippers. So it is so. We don't respect our Nigerian police. And there was a time, Tell magazine, so many years ago, did a comprehensive feature writing on, in fact, it was an exclusive, the whole of the magazine edition was dedicated to how the police have been on the run during the military era. And it was said that, the military contributed to, making the police not efficient so that there won't be competition.
Really?
Yeah, Tell magazine did a very exclusive report on that.
They humiliated and
the Nigerian police so this contributes to sometimes the actions because sometimes when you evaluate the action of some of the action that policemen take, you start asking yourself, somebody who is normal cannot do this. How can you just argue with somebody and then you cock a gun, boom?
I really wonder.
It shows some mental issues. And then when you talk to psychiatrists, they will tell you. Because in Nigeria, we think that only the mental people are only people that walk naked, roam the street naked. It's not. I mean, there's a popular saying that many are mad, few are roaming. So the mental issue, mental health is what we are not taking into cognizance in Nigeria. I mean, we saw issues of people parking their vehicle on Third Mainland Bridge and then committing suicide.
Yes.
Okay, let me say if it's a policeman that had that kind of suicidal tendency, what happens? And it's with a gun. And you come have a small argument with him. So we have to take the issue of not even only the police, the civil defense, the military, the road safety, the VI officer, all those people that law enforcement agents and their agencies, we need to take care of their mental health. It's very, very important.
Occasionally, right?
From
time to time.
And the mental, have you visited any police barracks? Have you taken a trip to a police barracks? Go and see the squalor in which Nigerian police live. You can't even. I mean, it's like a dinghy. It's like a ghetto. Most of the Nigerian police barracks are ghettos. And you want somebody who lives in that kind of condition to be happy.
No, or be normal.
So when we are pointing at the Nigerian police, we should also look at their problems. They have a lot of problems. If we are in that kind of situation, we may even behave in a worse way. Because,
well, we're happy that
we should tackle and then we should take and then it is the citizen that we should help the Nigerian police fight this fight, because the command and structure of Nigerian police will not allow the junior officers to be able to air this thing. So the junior officers of the Nigerian police and the Nigerian police should also leak out information to journalists like us, to the media houses, so that they can tell us what is happening in there, and then we can help them project it to national consciousness and discourse.
Everyone will
so that everyone will hear, so that the right administration can take notes, and then these things can be escalated to the right quarters.
Good. Now, the same paper this time, but let's take a look at the upper part of the paper where they said the 9th Assembly leadership, Buhari not supporting any candidate presidency official. Now, I thought this issue
so
of...
who is the presidential official?
Well, the name wasn't mentioned. It's like coming from the presidency. And the president himself is in full support of whatever it is, because the presidency also refers to the president himself.
Well, if because the name was mentioned, I don't think I'll comment on that, because the president has not come to refute the position of the party, which said that the president has endorsed particular candidates. for the position of the speakership and the president of the Senate. So the president has not come to deny it. So the party has said it, and in so many other issues they have already said it. So I don't know why an anonymous source from the presidency will be telling us. So if I will not, I'll take this with a pinch of salt. If it was a press release from Femi Adesina or from Garba Shehu, then I'll take it more seriously. But for now, I'm taking this with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
Because we have seen the president in meetings with the APC leaders.
Yes, during the period of consultation.
And then they made, after the meeting, they talk, they send a communique and they should. So for somebody now to come to say presidency is not supported, I think I don't think it's right.
Well, I know at the end of the day they're going to sort all these ones out. Now let's go over to the next paper, and that's The Guardian. Senate summons IGP moves to check banditry in northern states. That's on The Guardian, with riders there. 11-year-olds use AK-47 rifles in Zamfara. 3,000 northerners in a doctor's den. And, kidnapping has increased cost of road construction. Foreign firms budget for ransom. Malaria kills 81,640, infects 53.7 million yearly in Nigeria. This is alarming, isn't it?
Malaria.
Malaria.
Well, malaria is the highest killer in Africa.
With all the drugs we have, anti-malaria drugs and stuff.
It's the highest killer in Africa. So, I just think, I remember as a kid growing up in one part of Kwara State, Bashita, where they had a sugar company. You know, the sugar grows in a kind of, they had a lot of Fadama farms there, so there were a lot of marshy grounds and swamp around the area. I remember that once or twice in a year, they come with a helicopter, they will spray some chemicals, you know, into the water, and you will not hear or see mosquito for a full year.
That's after fumigation, isn't it?
That is external fumigation.
Okay.
That will spray the chemical from area spray.
Wow.
In the farms where the habitations of these mosquitoes. And then they will cease to breed. And once they don't breed, they don't have generations to carry on the biting. So it worked for a full year, and it was Nigeria. We are talking about Nigeria 30-something years ago. So why are we not replicating it? And then the gutters, you see, when you clear where malaria incubate, you will not see malaria. You will not see mosquitoes. But what do we have? We have a large forest. There's no fumigation. Somebody is budgeting it in the Ministry of Health or whatever, or Ministry of Environment. Somebody is not accounting for what it's used for. So it goes down the line, and it keeps killing Nigerians. And sometimes when you have malaria, you don't even have, the drugs are not cheap. By now, because of the prevalence of malaria, we're supposed to be having free malaria. But what are they distributing? They want to distribute free condom for prevention of HIV and the rest. Meanwhile, malaria is killing us here. So we are supposed to have free malaria drug in clinics and hospitals. Free. But we are not having that. So what is the Malaria Society of Nigeria doing? What are those people doing? What all the aids, foreign aids we have received on malaria, what all the foundations, what are they doing? So I think Nigerians should focus, when the foreign aids are coming, they should focus on the malaria. What is happening to malaria? Why are they focusing on gender mutilation, feminine mutilation? Why are they focusing on
equality,
why are they focusing
gender
on
equality
this,
and all
focusing
that?
on this when we have menace that kills every second, lots of children, especially children, die.
Yes.
Infant mortality.
Pregnant
yes,
women
the highest infant mortality in Africa is caused by malaria. It's the highest cause of infant mortality.
Something needs to be done about it.
Something needs to be done. We are paying lip service to it, and it's the highest killer. AIDS is not the highest killer. It's malaria.
And it's very common too.
And it's very common. People die because they don't have 1,000 naira to treat malaria.
Can you imagine that?
They don't have. So people keep dying because of that. So government should wake up from its slumber and then try to make sure that it saves its citizens.
From things like this, it appears they're beginning now to focus on it and seek solution to the problem.
Well,
hopefully.
Let's hope it's not a press conference talk.
Okay, still on The Guardian, you can see the bold picture there on the front page of The Guardian that shows the one-time coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles, Christian Chukwu. Christian Chukwu has been down with an illness, I think cancer or something. Okay, and he is plans are underway to have him flown abroad for treatment. And before this, some of his friends, and football enthusiasts, came around and taxed themselves. They made some contributions. It wasn't still not okay. It was still not enough to take him overseas for this all-important treatment. But a Nigerian who has the wherewithal, out of the mercy, and generosity in him, came out and donated a humongous amount, name it, $50,000 to take him abroad, to fly him abroad for this treatment. He needs commendation, and we hope that a lot of Nigerians have so much money.
He has got his commendation already because he put it on the front page of a national daily. So he has got his reward on earth already. These are sham. These are shambolic PR stunts.
Are you sure he's aware of this? Are you sure he's even happy about this?
Why should we even allow our heroes to degenerate to this level? It's because we are not a serious country. We don't think. And that is why the young people don't think about Nigeria. Because they have seen that Nigeria don't take care of the people who have done things for them. It cascades down in the military, in the police, in the civil service, everywhere. Nigeria don't take care of people who have worked for them.
But
so
Mr. Boke, we still need to commend him. He deserves that commendation.
For me, why we are treating the symptoms and not the root causes. When we see all this kind of PR stunts, what prevents Femi Otedola to set up a world-class hospital in Nigeria with all his humongous wealth to ensure that we have a world-class hospital, that Nigeria becomes a medical tourism heaven? It has a lot of foreign partners. So for me, I'm a PR consultant, so I know when I see this kind of stuff, it's a sham. It's a PR stunt. It's a CSR PR stunt, corporate social responsibility stunt. So it should set up, his fellow billionaires in dollars like Bill and Melinda Gates are setting up foundations. What foundations does he have? If he really wants to cater for, he can set up a foundation for caring for veterans, for Nigerian heroes or whatever. And let that run. So not when you have, because Christian Chukwu is a popular person.
I was going to talk about that.
Then you want to key into his popularity and ride on the shoulder of his popularity to gain your own CSR popularity. So this kind of stunts don't move me.
Now, my question is this. This is being done unheard of, because of the status of the person in question. Yes.
Of Nigeria's football team.
Of all his contributions.
Was a coach twice.
Yes.
And all those things. And then you still leave him. So he doesn't kind of take care of himself. That is where we are. There's no system in place. And so you blame young boys when they say, we don't want to play for Nigeria, we don't want to, they select matches to come. Where they see Christian Chukwu being treated this way. So why would somebody want to die for Nigeria? Where's Okwaraji? Okwaraji that died in the 15th for Nigeria.
Just gone and forgotten.
So, where is Yekini? Where is all these things? So it was
when Yekini died.
It wasn't even his club. It wasn't even his club that he played for in Europe that were celebrating him. So we are a country that doesn't celebrate his own people, that doesn't even remember their heroes. We don't even care about their existence. We don't even care to sustain their memories. We don't even teach history in our schools. The families that left behind, we don't even care about them. Last time somebody showed me the picture of Adekule Fajuyi's home in Ibadan. And how dilapidated it looks and the rest. So this kind of thing, the young generation is watching, and you want them to be patriotic. They can't.
They can't do otherwise.
They are human beings. They watch, they evaluate these things. They cannot be patriotic.
And that's it's going to reflect in.
So I would beg Femi Otedola, Mr. Femi Otedola, to use his wealth instead of coming to donate for stars to go overseas. Let him use his wealth to set up a world-class hospital
in Nigeria
that people don't need to fly out, but they can go to that hospital. And also, it's a business. It will also bring money for him as well. So it's not a charity.
Good advice there. And but I still insist he needs and deserves commendation. So thank you very much, Otedola.
Thank him on our behalf.
Okay, now to the Punch. Knocks as Buhari begins 10-day private visit to the UK. I give Nigerians reason for the visit. This is coming from the PDP. 10-day visit, and the reason for the visit is not made known.
I think it's a problem of, we have always been talking that there's a problem with the way the handlers, the PR handlers or the media handlers of the president, they are not handling him well. There are some of these things that seem to be shrouded in secrecy. How can my president travel for 10 days? I don't know why he has gone out. A simple one paragraph press release would have done that.
Of course.
I mean, he had a hectic electoral period.
And it makes sense.
So he should, Jonathan did it, but Jonathan went to Budu, okay, to do his own leave, rest. I mean,
which makes a lot of sense.
Yes, for a man at his age and all those rigorous campaign and electoral process, he deserves a break. But you didn't tell us. The next thing we saw him commissioning bus stations in Lagos and Oshodi.
Yes.
The next thing we saw in Borno. The next thing we are told is in UK for 10 days.
Yes.
So the media handlers are supposed to tell us if the president has gone to take a rest after the hectic electoral season. But now, when you don't do that, then you left.
It feels speculations here and there, all over the place.
Is it okay? Is this this? I know some 50 columnists start selling some wrong ideas here and there. So I think the Femi Adesina and Shehu Garba should wake up to their responsibility and try as much as possible to educate Nigerians whenever this kind of movement wants to take place, so that to avoid speculations.
Okay, now let's just move over to the next paper. But I want us to take a look at the rubbish, heap of rubbish there. They said it's at Apapa Oshodi Expressway, Lagos, that is working towards becoming a mega city. Can you imagine this found in a city like Lagos?
May 29 to reach so that somebody can leave, because he has messed up this city.
Oh, really?
So let him just leave.
Some other people out there are commending him for a job well done, even the president himself.
I leave those stunts. Governors have stopped working in Lagos for a very long time. There was a time somebody wanted to do property search in Alausa. For 1 month, he couldn't do it. You know what? There was no power supply. There was no power supply. So how can we when you want to benchmark what Ambode is doing, benchmark it with what Fashola did in his first term. I'm not comparing Ambode with the governor of Bauchi State. I'm not comparing with the governor of Bayelsa or governor of Imo State.
But his party is so proud of his achievements, and
well, the party is just being, political, being diplomatic about his statements and the rest, because they have succeeded in getting him out. That is just it. So what we call in downtown at all.
So that's like a consolation.
A consolation, make him feel all right. May 29 is not far away. It's just like it's like 5 weeks away. Let's manage him out. Okay, he's still our party. He didn't leave and this and that. How can we commissioning projects that are not completed? What was he doing? That project was almost at a halt for the past 3 months. He didn't even know that he's supposed to. We're saying when he lost the party ticket, we're saying, okay, concentrate on this project. I remember advising him on this to concentrate on this project. Make sure you finish it so that there can be your legacies. But for 3-4 months, nothing happened.
You started it. If you fail to complete it, the glory goes to someone else. Whoever completes it.
No, he's trying to prevent that glory from going to someone else. That is why he's commissioning. Some people have argued that when Fashola left so many, even some completed projects, left it uncommissioned so that the incoming governor can commission.
We continue from where he
Now you have gone to commission projects that you didn't finish. Those projects are not finished. That bus station, I think last year, the president also commissioned something there. So what did they commission there? Did they repaint the place again? Because those buses have been there for more than 1 year. Each time you go through Computer Village, you will see those buses. We are going to domestic airport. They have been there for more than a year. So what are they commissioning and recommissioning?
Okay.
So look at the rubbish that and this rubbish started because of the issue of Visionscape and all those things.
Yeah.
Since that time, Lagos has not known peace when it comes to rubbish and refuse dumps and pollution. And it seems like governance is not. Look at the motorcycles are back on the way. Lagos is a bedlam.
Well, let's hope that with the new administration coming in, all these things will change, and we begin to have the Lagos of our dream. Now, let's check out the last paper here, available here. That's The Nation. The Nation, we have banner headline there, 3,000 in kidnappers' den. Senate Labour seek action. With rider there, NLC to Buhari, overhaul security. Upper Chamber invites a acting IGP. Now, let's take a look at the upper part, the upper portion of the paper where it's written, Ekiti, Ondo, Kwara, Benue to pay 30,000 naira. That's talking about this minimum wage. How feasible is this? This 30, yes, it's been signed into law and all that, you know, with the euphoria and the celebrations and stuff. But do you see this 30,000 naira minimum wage being maintained, being consistent, you know, without having, because remember that before this 30,000 naira minimum wage came up, we had 18,000 naira, which most of the state governments were unable to pay.
The minimum wage is supposed to be reviewed every 5 years.
Yes.
So why the government waited for it to be prodded by NLC is what I don't understand. So now that we have done it in 2019, the government should start planning
ahead
for 2024, because it ought to be increased again by then. They shouldn't wait and start selling us dummy stories. For all the states in NDDC, under NDDC, I don't think they should pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. They should pay up to 40,000 naira minimum wage, because they earn more from the federal.
But the law stipulates that it is 30,000 naira.
It doesn't
yes.
make states can pay beyond that.
Higher. All right. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I think that NDDC state should even pay more than 30,000.
But why? What's your reason for this?
Because from the derivation formula, they have 30% derivation formula. They earn more than other states from the federal account, for the federation account, so they have more money. And the IGR, you know, is better than other states apart from Lagos. Then when you come to all other states, every state in Nigeria has the financial capacity to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. Any governor who is saying that is lying to us.
From internally generated revenue
from
or something?
Internal generation revenue, from the federal allocation, and then from the wastage and profligacy of government and its officials. Money can be paid.
So you see this working if certain steps are taken, right?
They have the money, so they should not try to becloud our reasons. They have the money to pay it. So
all states, without any exception.
All states. If any governor comes out to say, let him release how much he's paying his political aids, let him release how much he's earning from IGR, let him release how much he's getting from the federal allocation, and then let him tell us how much they're giving for security votes.
So it's going to work.
It should work, unless the NLC in those state chapters are not serious people.
Okay. I want to believe you, and I want to be optimistic about it too.
No, any state governor who say he cannot pay, I mean, the state should be paid. The NLC should picket the state. They can pay. So we are talking about two different things now. Ability, capability to pay, ability to pay, and willingness to pay. There are two different things.
Meaning the money could be there.
Money could be there, and the governor will say, okay, when he thinks of, oh, I need to tighten this thing to be able to pay this, he will not say, I don't want, this is my affluent lifestyle, or he has 1,000 special advisors, I need to be paying them. So
I hope the right things will be done in order to sustain this.
Politicians will not do the right thing until the citizens insist. So if you sit down there and think any politician will gift you the right thing,
and I think Nigerians have learned that.
So
they now know how to go about it.
They have not. They have not learned enough.
All right, thank you very much, Ambrose Iboke, public affairs analyst. You're not going away yet. We're only going to take a break here, but you'll be back again to help us flush out issues on the main subjects we have on the program today. Thanks a lot for what you've done so far.
Thank you.
And for you out there, we hope you'll stay tuned, because we'll be back shortly. That's at the other side of 10 with more for you on the show.
On the day list this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption besides Jim Festa of the punch newspaper. Nigerian Governors Forum calls for Okonjo Iweala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The Daily, every day on CoreTV News.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless.
This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well. You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year.
On the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
On Digi 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dullards that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that ballot.
Digi 360, providing clarity to issues.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
The judiciary, third arm of government. What happens here is what we give to you. The arraignments, arguments, rulings, adjournments of cases and judgments. The fight against corruption and issues bordering on human rights violations.
The doctrine of least spenders ought to have been respected, that no arm of government, however powerful, should take the laws into its hands as held by the Supreme Court.
Justice is one way. It's either you go for justice or justice go after you. But I've never seen a situation where an individual is afraid of justice.
We move from court to court to give you updates on legal matters, when they happen and where they are happening, going extra miles to get reactions from the parties, even when they're not in the mood to speak.
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Watch Legal Scope on CoreTV News at this time.
Good morning and welcome to Headline News at 10 on CoreTV News. I am Ohimpri Krumale. The federal government of Nigeria has stressed the need to establish an effective border security called e-border solution. Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazao says the modern technology worth 52 billion naira is underway to curb criminal activities including smuggling, banditry, illegal migration and related inter-border crimes. We disclosed this at the end of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, which was presided over by the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. The life of Senator Ademola Adeleke is allegedly under threat. The National Publicity Secretary of the opposition People's Democratic Party, Kola Ologbodenya, said, who made the allegation in Abuja, says the life of the governorship candidate in the recently conducted Oshunguba election is in danger. Society Osadabam reports that the party says with the unstable allegation of forged documents against the candidate, leaders of the All Progressives Congress are becoming more desperate in their bid to intimidate the principal of the Edem Muslim High School in Osun State. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has said he is planning to write to the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami San, to demand answer on why the federal government, Muhammadu Buhari-led government, has been disobeying court orders. The activist lawyer said he recalled that even when Buhari ruled the country in the 80s as a military dictator, orders of court were never disobeyed. Falana said this in Lagos on Thursday during the public lecture marking the 30th anniversary of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. The lecture, with the theme Chronicling the Struggle, Identifying the Way Forward, was delivered by a professor of international law and jurisprudence, Akin Oyebode, while Professor Julius Humveri of the Ford Foundation was the keynote speaker. Speaking in his capacity as the chairman of the Committee for Defense of Human Rights Board of Trustees, Falana said the struggle for the respect of human rights in the country had made a lot of gains in the last 30 years. Labour on Thursday passed a damning verdict on the security agencies of the country for handling of security matters. The agencies, the Nigerian Labour Congress, said had failed to rise up to the challenges of kidnapping and banditry across the country. It urged President Muhammadu Buhari to rejig the system. Labour also blamed the widening gap between the rich and the poor on bad governance. He claimed that the non-payment of salaries by some states was responsible for violent crimes such as armed robbery and kidnapping. In a message to the NLC Delegates Conference in Abuja, NLC President Ayuba Wabak cautioned the government against raising the value-added tax. He also cautioned the government against eating the International Monetary Fund recommendation on removal of fuel subsidy. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Abubakar, will be the guest of the Senate next week to explain to the upper legislative chamber with the nation's security suffers serious security challenges, especially in the escalation of armed banditry and kidnapping across the country. The Inspector General of Police will be appearing before the Senate to address the measures the security agency is taking to curtail the increasing insecurity in the country. The House of Representatives has moved to investigate the non-remittance of stamp duties to the Federation account by the Nigerian Postal Service, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and commercial banks. This was sequel to a motion by Goni Buka Lawan, lawmaker from Yobe State, and the House of Representatives. And on the foreign scene, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has accused the U.S. of acting in bad faith during the summit earlier this year with President Donald Trump, according to the Korean Central News Agency. He also said peace in Korean Peninsula will depend entirely on Washington. He made these remarks at Thursday's summit with Russia's President Vladimir Putin in Vladivostok. President Putin accepted an invitation to visit North Korea. The KCNA reported Kim Jong-un reportedly told Vladimir Putin that the situation on the Korean Peninsula, that the region is now at a standstill and has reached a critical point. He warned the situation may return to its original state as the U.S. took a unilateral attitude in bad faith during recent talks. It comes a week after Pyongyang accused the U.S. of derailing on peace talks. And in Mozambique, Cyclone Kenneth has made landfall in the northern part of the country, still recovering from another huge storm. The cyclone has brought 140-meter-per-hour winds and has already killed 3 people on the island nation of Comoros. Mozambique's Nation Institute of Disaster Management said 30,000 people have been evacuated from the areas likely to be hit. Communications with the affected areas have been disrupted, so the true picture of the extent of the damage is not yet clear. Cyclone Kenneth made landfall on Mozambique's northern province of Cabo Delgado on Thursday evening, with wind speed equivalent to a Category 4 hurricane. Last month, Cyclone Idaya caused hundreds of deaths in the region. More than 900 people died when the storm brought devastation to Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. The Health Ministry says Sri Lanka has revised down the death toll from Sunday's blast by more than 100 to about 253. It has blamed a cultural report. Suicide bombers struck hotels and churches in the Colombo area and the eastern city of Batikalau. Hundreds were injured, officials said. Most of those killed were Sri Lankans, but dozens of foreigners were also casualties. 9 people are suspected of carrying out the attacks. Police have cautioned carrying out raids and have issued photographs of 7 people wanted in connection with the attacks. The authorities blamed a local Islamist extremist group, National Tawhid Jamaat, soon after the blast, but says the bombers must have had outside help. And that's a wrap on Headline News at 10. I am Priya Kurumale. Many thanks for watching. Please stay tuned as Core Digest continues shortly.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well. You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I'm about fortune.
Now, you see, let me
say this.
So that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
So what is 60 Minutes with Angela all about? It's not an interview. I like to think it's a conversation between 2 people, people making the news, people who are in the news, and those who become the news. And the whole idea is to inform, to educate, or to clarify, as the case may be. It is an art getting people to answer the questions that everyone is thinking in their minds. And that's what we try to do on 60 Minutes with Angela. I ask all the questions that everyone's thinking about and no one wants to voice. All the questions you always wanted to ask, you get those answers on 60 Minutes with Angela. Every week on this station, 60 Minutes with Angela, getting answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it.
He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
The judiciary, third arm of government. What happens here is what we give to you. The arraignments, arguments, rulings, adjournments of cases and judgments, the fight against corruption and issues bordering on human rights violations.
The doctrine of least spenders ought to have been respected, that no arm of government, however powerful, should take the laws into its hands as held by the Supreme Court.
Justice is one way. It's either you go for justice or justice go after you. But I've never seen a situation where an individual is afraid of justice.
We move from court to court to give you updates on legal matters, when they happen and where they are happening, going extra miles to get reactions from the parties, even when they're not in the mood to speak.
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Watch Legal Scope on CoreTV News at this time.
On Digi 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
The Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that ballot.
DG 360, providing clarity to issues.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV. Leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station. CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
On DG 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
The Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that ballot.
We engage experts in critical analysis. Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well. Cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about form.
Now, you see, let me
So
say this.
that our soldiers will be free, we should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
Hello there and welcome once again to the show today. Now we're talking about Core Digest, and this is the last segment on the show. Our dear country, Nigeria, is boiling and bubbling with an uncontrollable and unprecedented degree of crime and violence. And it seems to have left the security agencies hopelessly and helplessly gaping and gasping in astonishment and confusion. Hence, the National Assembly has summoned the Inspector General of Police, Adamu Mohammed, next week to come up and explain the situation and, of course, show the ways and means of tackling the menace. And that is the very first subject we have today. In case you're not quite aware of what I'm talking about, take a listen to this.
Kaduna and Niger. Kajuru in Kaduna State is notorious for killings and kidnappings. Recall the death of Agon Adara, Dr. Mewadara Fel Galadima,
dead last year, who was killed by kidnappers after collecting ransom. It is pathetic to note that this area has become hostile to both visitors and the inhabitants.
Take notes from all those who have been kidnapped in the past, either from state by state or zone by zone. And this will help us to build, some information bank that can help our security agencies in dealing with this matter.
It will have its effect on investment. They say that investment is a coward. Whenever there is trouble anywhere, he wouldn't like to go there. So investment certainly will not come to Nigeria when we have this kind of challenges. Also, tourism will be affected. And these are areas...
Security agencies to immediately deploy the use of drones and interceptors in tracking kidnappers asking for ransom. Those in favor of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
That's one. Again, suspected killers of police officers, including a pregnant woman at the Afuze police station in Owan East local government area of Edo State, have been paraded by the police in Benin, that's in Edo State. Well, let's take another look at this other one.
Abaga, and 4 of us entered there. 2 sets, now we take out there. The 2 sets we take out there, some now jet, some now Ibiao, inside the police station for Afuze. We got entered there. From then we got the, as we enter inside, me, now the first police we are seeing now woman. Me got
machine we steal for Auchi. For Auchi, they go carry us go Afuze police station. We spent 2 days for there. After the 2 days, at this
How many do you spend 2 days? How many will be?
3 of us.
Nice steal the machine. How old you they?
24 years.
And with me here to thrash out these issues and other quick.
The election, there is a pattern. Normally after election, there seems to be some upsurge in crime activities after elections.
Yes.
And security experts have ascribed this most of the time to some of the things that happen during the electionary processes, because our elections are still replete with violence. We saw what happened to River State, where people were holding guns and the rest. During the primaries, we saw what happened in Lagos Island, where various gangs were supporting different candidates. We were shooting openly on the streets of Lagos. We saw what happened in the APC kind of rally in Ikeja, where in the presence of the governor and some other APC leaders, somebody was stabbed. A leader of one of the factions was stabbed. And these violence keep repeating themselves all over the country. So the question is, where did the people get, those thugs get their arms? Where did they get the ammunition? Where did they get the firearms to do all the things they have done? And then after the election, what else? What do they use the firearms for? So, and most of the times, these firearms are not retrieved from them. So what do? They use it for perpetrating violence and other things, and banditry and other sorts of crime, and kidnapping. The second one also, the kidnapping has evolved into a business. Of course, it's still fresh in our memory, the issue of Evans, who is the kidnapper, and how he was able to acquire so much wealth. We thought we have smashed the kingpin, but we saw that it's actually now becoming a kind of a stable profession for so many for many die-hard criminals. And then when it comes to the what they call banditry in Zamfara, that word banditry, I was still wondering how they came about that word, because I felt that that's pure terrorism. When you come attack people in their villages, burn down villages, and cut away their resources. Bandits come to steal, or bandits come to pillage. But when you now start killing people and
but since they are armed,
in a terrorist style,
anything can happen.
So it's terrorism, and the more we elevate it to the level of terrorism, the better. Even Boko Haram in Nigeria has not been elevated to the level of terrorism. So I don't know what is terrorism. You have to go. So for you to have a soft landing, you come and make a public announcement that you have resigned.
So that was what happened.
Most of the time, that's what happens. You know, you have failed, so you have to go. So, but to have a soft landing so that you are not sacked, so that your emoluments can go together and all those kind of things. Politicians have a way of giving you a soft landing, go and announce that you are the one that resigned. So he was fired, and then there was another minister that was fired. The police chief was also fired. So that is a country that works. That is a country that values human lives. In Nigeria, what's the value of human life in Nigeria? So that is the problem. What is the value of the life of an average Nigerian citizen? We don't place premium on the value of our lives. So 100 and something people get killed in Kajuru. The governors will do campaign. The president will be doing his campaign. So many people got killed in Zamfara.
They will even be arguing over the toll.
So these people will say, so it's normal. But when Notre Dame got burnt, we will write a letter. When Sri Lanka, 200 and some, we will write a letter of condolence. So we are a hypocritical country. We are a psychopathic country. We are a country that don't value our own. But when something happens in that country, we even see Nigerians using the flag of other countries when things happen there, as they had display pictures in their social media handles. But when it happens in Nigeria, nobody even says anything about it. Sometimes even the mainstream media blacks it out. We have to start saying some of this from the blogs. So that is how we are as a people. And this is a place where cops of a citizen of Nigeria can litter the streets for 1 week, 2 weeks, nothing is done about it. So we are not a serious people when it comes to the issue of protecting the citizens. So because of that, and because these bandits or whoever you call them get away with what they do, they keep doing it. How many of them have been arrested? How many of them have been paraded? How many of them have been flushed out? I heard the Senate president talking about that people that they should deploy drones and they are moving it as a motion. We are ashamed. We should be burying our heads in shame that we are discussing in the Senate that without the security operatives should use drone. Is that not taken? Even as a TV producer, we use drone to shoot documentaries and movies and the rest.
Yes.
And you're talking for intelligence. People are using drone to deliver pizzas. You are moving it in the motion of the Senate to know whether security people should use drone to track kidnappers. We are a joke. You know, when you see these things and then these leaders travel more than you and I, they see these things. But there's something in their gene that makes them not want to replicate.
What they've seen outside.
What they've seen outside. One of the things is that they want the people to be perpetually subjugated, to be down there so that they cannot be enlightened. And that's what is happening. So banditry, poverty. There's poverty everywhere in the land. There is unemployment. Because somebody who is gainfully employed, somebody who is busy, will not engage in gang war, will not engage in kidnapping and all those kind of things.
An idle hand.
So idle hand, of course, has become the devil's factory, not even workshop this time around. It has become the devil's factory because we have, every year we churn out hundreds of thousands of graduates. NYC churns out hundreds of thousands of them. And then the jobs, then we are losing millions of jobs. So how do you balance that?
I wonder.
So we have an army of youths. Okay, there were three last month. Dangote, or this last week or this week, Dangote cried out that in Kano there will be a time that the elites in Kano may not be able to come home again, because they have like 3.something million youths unemployed young people roaming the streets of Kano alone. So what are we talking about? So those kind of 3.something million youths, what does it take? Somebody to give them money for drink, give them money for some substances that they can get them high, give them some illegal weapons, tell them to go and undo
cause mayhem.
Mayhem, and there they are. So they are already an army of people that cause mayhem, and the government is doing nothing about it, paying lip service to it. So until we are able to tackle the root causes, the Senate can pass all the resolutions they can, but what are the root causes? We've talked about the logistics for the military. We talk about logistics for the police. The police does not. We are talking about drone. How can a Senate be passing? The police are supposed to have massive drone. Where are the cameras? The CCTV cameras. Where are they? In Sri Lanka, we saw that the CCTV could even track the person as was moving into the church.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
So we saw CCTV tracking a lot. When something happened in Paris the other time, we saw, so well, people don't even have CCTV. Where are the equipment for them to work?
And the explosion that happened in Boston.
Yeah, you go to the typical police station in Nigeria, you weep. Policemen go to type sensitive documents in business centers. Sensitive documents. They don't even have an administrative arm, the computers or whatever to type documents.
Very deplorable.
They go to business centers, public place to type. Go there, you see them. So that is where we are. And because we are not taking security seriously the way we ought to take them, these people will do anything and get away with it. And we are not treating the root causes that may lead to these things, which is unemployment, which is job insecurity, poverty, and all those things. So once we don't take care of these dynamics, we'll keep having these issues. Our military, our security agencies are not well motivated.
Yeah.
They are overwhelmed. They don't have the logistics. The police want to go pursue after a crime. They are asking for fuel. They don't have it. The last time a DPO of one of the police stations was writing to the CDAs, to the Community Development Associations, that their vehicle is broken down, that they need XYZ amount to fix the vehicle. Please help us. Oh, it's a shame.
And the criminals are aware of all these.
They are.
Now, in this case, maintaining peace and order and protecting lives and property is primarily the duty of the police. What's the role of the army here? Is there anything wrong in replicating what happened during the...
situations are classified. Now, when it gets to emergency situations, that's where you deploy the military. Now, to get an emergency situation, that's where when you classify, when you know that this thing is a security emergency. But we are not going to classify them as security emergencies. So we are still seeing it as civil matter. But because we are not even upgraded the acts of people like Boko Haram as terrorists, because they are insurgents, they are trying to, they are invading the country. So that's why the military is dealing with them there. Now, when it comes to the issue of these civilians now coming in, kidnapping people, and the space is becoming very scary, then we need to maybe have to declare a national emergency on these issues, and then draft in other paramilitary and military bodies to help the police in working. But again, whether you draft in these people or not, if you don't give them the tools to work with, if you don't give them the logistics to work with, then they will not be able to achieve much.
Okay, now we have Mark Kobe. Mark Kobe, right? We have Mark Kobe on the line. Hello, Mark Kobe. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. This is Malobi, M-A-L-O-B-Y from Jos.
It's going to be corrected right away. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I really, first of all, want to commend your guest.
Okay.
This man nails it anytime he's on air. I feel like giving him a hug this morning. This is a true Nigerian.
That's 7 years imprisonment, too. A man hug.
No. Even the Bible says we should greet one another with a holy kiss. Yeah, I think you understand.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I want to say that you cannot build something on nothing. And what we are experiencing in Nigeria today is a decay of faulty system. Our system is wrong. You cannot talk of security where you have an IG of police who sits in Abuja, and then something is happening in Jos. Even the governor cannot even give order to the commissioner of police. And even the commissioner of police have to take order from the man in Abuja to be able to act here. Isn't that a fraud? Before this communication is given and the order is given, my brother, so many water would have passed under the bridge. What I'm trying to say is that this thing we are saying in terms of security is replicated in every facet of this national life. Everything is wrong with us. For instance, my brother, a situation where some states in the north do not permit establishment of brewery in their state, and then they wait at the end of the month to collect VAT that comes from proceeds from brewery that is done in other states. Isn't that a fraud? Lastly, I want to say this before I leave. If we do not restructure this country, I bet you will keep lamenting like this until Jesus returns. We need to restructure this country. We need to segment, look at community policing, look at state police, look at geopolitical arrangements that can bring situations like security very close to the people. Thank you so much, and God bless you over there. This is Malobi once again.
Thanks a lot, Makobi. We appreciate, he doesn't see any possibility of us having a solution to this problem.
Yeah, because everything we do is symptomatic reactions. We have not actually gone through the root causes. And so they are symptomatic. You send troops to go and fight Boko Haram, they complain of equipment, they complain of logistics. You send police to go fight with guns that jam, and they are fighting against people who have... How come that insurgents have sophisticated weapons? How come that these kidnappers are having radio systems, are having GPS tracking systems, are having... Look at when Evans was arrested, how he was able to use technology to jam his phones, that even his locations could not be tracked and all those kind of things. How much do these things cost?
All right, now
government can afford it.
Mr. Ibuke, let's, before we put paid to this very subject and move over to the next one, because we have two major subjects here to thrash out. I want you to, what is the way out of the woods?
The way out of the wood is that there is enough budget for defense. But the problem is that it's not trickling down. I mean, most of our Army chiefs, police chiefs, Navy chiefs, Air Force chiefs, they are fat cows. They live large. The last time there were issues of the Chief of Army Staff having some properties in Dubai and all the rest. That has not been, we didn't know how that one ended. And so there are lots of other things. We see them living large, building mansions all over the place. Whose money are they using? So until we start using the defense body, receive awards, international awards for gallant performance. The same Nigerian police, the same Nigerian soldier, the same Nigerian Air Force personnel and Navy personnel. Where they go for
in their own country?
Yeah, where they go for AU or they go for, for United Nations operations, they do very well. Why? Somebody said, well, because they work with almost bare hands here, and then when they get there, they get everything. I say, wow, so this is possible. They're well equipped, and they do very well. So if we can replicate it, we have our men in the military and paramilitary circle are very brave men. All they need is equip them properly with the latest technology.
Despite court orders, for his release, he's still in detention up till now, and it's not been tried. The prosecution hasn't been made. So we'll put paid to that very issue. He's still in detention. When you ask the military will tell you he is there for safekeeping. Okay? They are trying to make sure that nothing harms him or hurts him out there. So they are taking care of him. And there was this, it wasn't an allegation, okay? But reason was given for it when we had that about 3.5 million naira is being spent on El Zakzaki. Is it on monthly basis or daily basis? No, on monthly basis.
And his wife.
Can you imagine that? And it was defended. Yes, it was defended.
The Minister of Information came up to tell us that.
Besides that one, the El Rufai now, governor of Kaduna State, defended it. Said yes, that amount of money, humongous amount of money, is being spent not just on him, but him and then the DSS, who are permanently stationed there to take care of him. Can you imagine that?
For feeding.
For feeding.
There was a lot of a flurry of jokes, after Mr. Lai Mohammed came to tell us about that on air.
Yeah.
And some Nigerians were like, please come and arrest me. And
even the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said, no, I think I'm going to abandon this position.
Propaganda and lies have limits. When you lie so much and you don't even know where you now rope yourself in. So between propaganda, stating the fact, and PR, if you don't know where to draw the line, then you start making some statements that make a mockery of whatever you say. And that's what has happened to that statement. Was that money approved? That means if it was approved truly, then some people have started swindling us again in the name of El Zazaki's feeding.
Just like cutting of grass.
Yes, just a lot of things are happening.
Just before we go any further, MCR, please play us this video. Let's take a listen at this development before we now continue with other comments on it.
Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, in their numbers again, took their protest for the release of Zazaki and his wife to the United Nations office in Abuja, asking the officials to intervene in the plight of the religious leader. A representative of the United Nations who received the protest letter from the group also assured that UN will attend to the letter.
We are calling on the United Nations to take a serious action. The United Nations has taken so many actions against so many leaders in the world. There are a lot of people that committed crime against humanity, and the United Nations has done well on that side. We want the United Nations to do this in Africa so that other people will take lesson from Muhammad Buhari.
Thank you very much, MCR there. Now, Mr. Iboke, you can see now that these peaceful protests is gradually moving to the next level. And this group had on more than one occasion threatened, yes, it's a threat. I quote, "We will change our style soon," Shiites warn Nigerian government as they mark El Zakzaki's birthday with protests. Meaning these people, this very group, if nothing is done to assuage, this situation and make sure that at least what they've been asking for is listened to. There is this reaction from the government showing that, yes, we've heard you. We are doing something, or we are going to do something. And if it continues, according to them, it's going to move to the next level. And that next level, in quotes, is uncertain. Remember the way Boko Haram started?
Yes, in fact, that's what I wanted to say. Because this group have said release him on bail.
With compensations,
while the things are going on.
Yeah,
and you have refused.
With damages to be paid.
It is the small collection of issues like this that escalates to national emergencies.
Yes.
Boko Haram started gradually like this. Yusuf had his following, they were teaching, they were not armed. The next thing, they were becoming, it was having so much followers. Then in 2009, the dynamics changed. The man was murdered in controversial circumstances, and then we gave birth to a monster.
That is it.
We gave birth to a monster that at a point, Boko Haram was in control of 17 local governments out of our 774 local governments in Nigeria. That was that monster we gave birth to. Today, we are still paying the cost of that.
Yes, we've not recovered.
We don't learn. Because the Boko Haram issue is just barely less than 10 years old. But we don't learn. If it was something that happened 50 years old, we say, okay, we are suffering from collective amnesia. But this is something that's even happened just recently. And now we are incubating another emergency. Because what has happened is that the people, they feel, look at the strong languages they are using.
Yes.
I listened to the protests where they went to the National Assembly? Or so, no, before National Assembly, there was somewhere they went. I heard the language they were using. It was scary. Calling out against and tell them, and then they will turn them against us. So this is the time for the government to act. What are your grievances? Let's look into it, this and that and that. So if we don't do that, then we are open to all sorts of things that may happen in future. And may we not have another Boko Haram in our hands.
We pray. Now, this continued detention of El Zakzaki, Is there any way it can be defended? I mean, in your opinion?
Well, the lawyers have come to speak on both sides. At a point, the DSS even got tired because at a point, so many court cases, they don't appear. And the prosecution, you know, the court has said, I don't know how you don't obey court orders. I don't know, in a democracy. Even if you are going to appeal, the lawyers will say when you are going to appeal a judgment, you have to first of all obey the court order. And then you go and appeal. But you keep somebody, you don't obey the court order, you say you are going on appeal. I don't know how that works. So from all reasonable inflections, from all the legal angles, it defies logic. It defies logic. Why that man is still in prison?
So what's going to happen now? What's the next step to take?
Well, what is happening? The government should release the man so that we don't have another crisis in our hands. The government should release the man, and then that the court should ensure that the man comes to the court to answer for his case.
All right, now, somebody has tried to defend his continued detention. I'm still taking us back to the governor of Kaduna State in the person of El Rufai. He said that the man's continued detention is because besides the original, the primary reasons why he was detained, there are secondary reasons. And those ones had to do with murder, multiple murder.
El Rufai just, I don't know, sometimes he talks out of context. What is his business then? Is he the prosecution officer? Is he the federal government?
This thing happened in his state. Originally, it happened in his state.
For now, the case is not in his hands. So what is he talking about? Has he been able to arrest the killings and all kinds of violence in the states?
He had even gone as far as calling for proscription.
He has not even done. Look at the killings in his state every now and then. He has not done anything about it. And when it comes to national issues, he starts talking. I mean, they said remove the plank in your wood in your own eye before you start thinking of another person's. So El Rufai is just making political statements in everywhere that don't have relevance. He's not the spokesperson of the president. He's not spokesperson of the DSS. He's not a legal practitioner. He's not representing any. He's not a counsel in any of the cases. So why is he talking about? Why is he talking about it? So I think these politicians should just face their primary responsibility of making life better for their people. Let him face the security situation in his state, because the issue of El Zazaki has moved to Abuja for a long time. Let him tackle the Kajuru killings. Let him tackle all the killings that have been taking place in his own state. There, somebody, a traditional ruler of Kachia was kidnapped.
Yes.
What is he doing about it? On the eve of election, he carelessly announced that people were killed. So El Rufai is purposely, trying to create a lot of tension in the states, I must say, because his utterances are not promoting cohesion, they are not promoting peace, and that state is volatile for ethnic reasons and for religious reasons. And each time he talks, he plays the ethnic card.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Ibuke. Finally, before we wind up this show, I would want you in a sentence or two to summarize, what the subjects we've treated today. The first one you remember has to do with the escalation of crime and violence in the country and the solutions, possible solutions to them. And of course, secondly, we've been talking about the continued detention of Islamic movement in Nigeria's leader, El-Zakzaky.
Well, when it comes to security issues, the public office holders, the politicians, the governors, and everybody who think that they are immune because they move around with a contingent of security personnel should know that they are not immune. That the way the ordinary man in the street is being killed, one day it may be their turn. Or it may be the turn of somebody who is close to them. So they should not close their eyes and think they are immune. And security issues should be handled as an emergency in Nigeria so that we can wipe out this. And the causative factors like unemployment, poverty, arming, gang wars, and using thugs and all those things should make sure to be stamped out so that we can have some level of peace. And one of their own, one of the people in the elite club, and in fact the richest man, has warned that one day they will not be able to go back to their own place.
Yes.
And they should take that as a serious warning coming from a man of that stature. They're talking about like the federal government should please obey the court orders so that we don't escalate this issue.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
See all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis. Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well. You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure. He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about fortune.
Now, you see, let me say this.
So that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody. The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria. If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Another episode of your darling program, The People. Well, you may be wondering what I'm doing inside this market. I'm here to talk to traders and even buyers concerning the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari and what are Nigerians saying at this time. Right here inside Obadekombi, King's Market, Ogun State, Nigeria. Well, let's hit inside this market to feel the pulse of Nigerians concerning his second term bid. I'm talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. See you inside this market.
The people, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
Good afternoon. So our market? Which market we need?
International Market.
Okay, now we President Buhari don't enter. You dey happy?
I dey happy.
Why you waiting make you happy?
Because everything, food, everything not come down. For example, see this garri, now 300 naira for beans. See this one, 450. See the beans. Beans is 1,000 naira for beans. Well, though is 1,005. A big rice, 1,150. White small rice, 1,002.
So you just say this beans don't how much?
You don't come down now. Beans before it's 1,006. Past 5 years ago, but now it's 1,000 naira.
1,000 naira
yes.
for things. Which kind of beans is this one?
This one is drum.
Drum.
Yes, sir.
This one now Yabi.
This one is 1,005 for beans.
That's good. So now Buhari make a come down now.
Now Buhari na say Baba. Baba, we give glory to God.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see you inside the market. What are you doing here?
I come to buy things like rice, beans, and so on and so forth.
So what do you make about the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari?
We are happy, but we only want him to see to our own issue also as we voted in him.
What issue?
To let everything come down. So it makes our roads, especially this Lagos-Ibadan expressway, let him repair it for us.
Market women say things don't come down now.
A little bit, not like before. We want it to come down more.
What is your advice to him?
Our advice to him now, make him help the poor masses. As we masses don't vote him in, we want to make himself see to our own issue also.
Madam, whether I agree to you?
I agree to it too, sir.
So, how market now?
Fine, thank you, sir.
What do they sell for this market?
They sell food stuff.
Food stuff. So, things don't come down?
Not like before. I do it very well, so he lets it be there.
So, what will be your advice for him?
I want to tell him,
they are giving Lagosians, they are giving them money, whatever, to do their trade, as in assisting them. They should come to our aid. So we've not seen anything in Ogun State. The government should please help us.
So what will be your advice to him?
My advice to President Muhammadu is for him to follow up with his all his workers, those that he is heading, because he may be doing it, and others, those that are following him, are not doing it. So he should monitor whatever he is putting on ground for the traders or the masses.
Yes, I'm really happy. You know, the reason why I'm happy is that if you don't know what this government have been doing, it is then you will not see the value of this government. Because this government, as far as I'm concerned, he has started rearranging some things from the foundation, which have not been there for a while. But now he's doing it. But since people are so concerned about what they are having or what they are not having now, they didn't know that the journey of 1,000 might start by taking steps. He's been taking steps in the right direction. Though it may be difficult, people may be shouting, but I know for entrepreneurs, we are still coming back to have the benefit of this government. I believe in this government. I believe in him. I believe in some of the information that he's doing, and I know we will get there very soon.
Are you happy that Buhari won second time?
I'm very happy.
You can't hold the mic.
Okay.
Are you happy that Buhari won the second time?
Very happy that he won.
Why are you happy?
Because I believe him. I know that he can do something in Nigeria today.
So what's your advice to him?
My advice to him is just he should be focused to Nigerians, because if he doesn't focus, there's a lot of distraction. So I want him to be focused on what the plan that he has for Nigeria.
I'm very, very happy because I'm a APC member in Lagos State. My father's husband is Commissioner Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, which is Honorable Muslim Folami. My own husband is PA to the Commissioner Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in Lagos State. So I was very, very excited. Next level, inshallah.
What next level are they giving us? They are saying next level of poverty.
No, next level of increasing many things. The road, health, schools, many things. This Nigeria will become a better place for us by God's grace. This next level.
But I agree to you.
Good afternoon.
How market?
I'm fine.
Are you sure you're fine?
Yes, sir.
Since they move?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we Buhari don't enter second time. You happy?
God is great. It's going higher. The market is moving. We still give God the glory that we still alive, that the election successful, no more accident, no more robbing, no more killing.
no more sharing blood, and we still give God the glory that we still alive again.
Yeah, actually the price is not too bad, though some things are a little bit expensive, while some are on the average side. But then afterwards it's not too bad.
The second term bid of President Muhammadu Buhari he has won the election. What can you say about it?
Well, we hope that things get better this time. Probably they'll be able to get it right this time, because the last time was not very good with people. A lot of people suffered. There was increase in price of things, but we hope that this time things will get better. At least we can get things at affordable and cheaper rates.
Advice to him. Your advice to President Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, my advice to him is for him to listen to the voice of the people. I'm sure the people are talking, but I don't know if it's getting to him. So I want him to listen to the voice of the people that voted him in.
To me personally, it doesn't make me believe all their testimony. Paying school fees nowadays, renew house rents, parents taking care of their children, husband being responsible to his wife is nowadays a very tight thing. And I will advise him as a father and as a grandfather, a great-grandfather, to see to the economy of this country, to make things more easier for the masses, so that an average family will be able to feed his or her family, be able to responsible as a parent. Some husband has run away from the home because of the tight, how tight the economy is. Some wives have left children to her husband and ran because she cannot bear it any longer. Some businesses has closed, and yet we are hearing we did this, we did that. Until all this begin to reflect on an average Nigerian, like we that are in the market, we find it difficult. People that patronized us before, that buy things very well, they are unable to buy again. They have little money, they manage their resources. So let it flow. Let Nigeria enjoy themselves, at least to an extent, so that they feel the dividend of this democracy that we are talking about.
Did you vote for Buhari?
Actually, I did not vote for anybody. And I have my reasons. Most people, when you with all your strength, you want to vote. We are only going to do our PVC, we get injured. I was afraid. The Nigerian politics is turning to a masquerade.
They don't wait.
Oh no, I don't talk.
Wait,
I don't talk.
How far are you? Why no good? Boy, they look fresh every day now.
Na God though. Na God.
You sure say na God?
They are no of God.
Now we Buhari don't win second time. What do you get to talk?
I don't have, what I have to say is that God will, in fact, God will take control. God will take control.
Why you fighting on that God?
Because I so much believe in God. I don't believe.
Did you vote for Buhari?
Because I didn't vote. I don't have PVC. I tried to get, I didn't get. Yes, I tried to get, I didn't get.
So are you happy that you won?
If God says yes, who am I? So I'm happy. Yeah, if God says yes, who am I? If it is the will of God, let him continue. But if it is not the will of God, one way or the other.
The people, giving voice to the voiceless.
Wow, welcome back. This is how we call it today. Very interesting time. Staying with traders and buyers inside Obadekombe King's Market, Opik, in Ogun State. And you heard Nigerians there talking about the second term re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari. It is expected that this administration will hit the ground running and ensure that there is more benefits of or dividends of democracy in the country. Till I come your way again, I remain your indefatigable advocate for the people, Emmanuel Ajayi. God bless you and God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will fee give you 500.
Sure, this one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
Cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion.
Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about fortune.
Now, you see, let me say this.
So that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will fee give you 500.
Sure, this one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I want to buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will fee give you 500.
Sure, this one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Another episode of your daily program, The People. I'm your host, Emmanuel Ajayi. On the streets, feeling the pulse of Nigerians on topical matters. This time around, we'll be talking concerning the aftermath of the 2019 elections in Nigeria. What are Nigerians saying? What is the assessment? Well, let's hit the streets to feel the pulse of Nigerians on this matter. As I remain your host, Emmanuel Ajayi, see you more on the streets.
The people, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
What's your assessment of 2019 election and which areas do you want improvement?
Well, the 19 election, it has come and gone, and we discovered that there are hitches here and there, complaints here and there from the political parties, especially the major ones, the APC and the PDP. What I'm trying to tell you now is that as Nigerians, they have to try and settle themselves out, I mean the politicians, so that the innocent ones will not suffer anything. Yeah,
it's okay, but the first time they actually changed the election time, it makes some people to actually get worried, and they don't actually want to come out to do the election again. I mean, do the voting. And like I discovered the second time we did the election, people don't really come out to do the election, but I actually came out to do that anyway, and it was okay.
So, what are those areas you think?
Well, the election, if we compare it to the past, we will say it's fair. But there's so much insecurity and violence in this present election, and there's so much, it brought so much divide. We must be frank. This present election brought so much tribalism, segregation, and all that. And the president needs to do a lot of things to actually resolve those kind of divisions. We are more divided than we used to be. There is no togetherness in Nigeria anymore. The election has brought so much division, so much tribalism, and the way some part of the country are carrying themselves seems as if without them this country would not live. It ought not to be so. I grew up to see where tribes live together in one accord, whether different religions or so. There was no fuse at all. But now, we Nigerians now ask you where you come from, what is your belief in terms of religion. So the election and this prayer politics has brought so much division to the country.
I think it was fair and fair because I was actually an ad hoc staff during the elections, and I saw some zones and some areas, and I also had colleagues who were also ad hoc staff, and even those that went to participate. So I felt it was free and fair, but I think we can actually improvise more as a country because the queue were actually more in some places, and I think there are better ways the election can be conducted to get other people to come out to vote.
Generally, I think it was below my expectation on a personal note because I had expected an improvement from the previous election. This was the election when personally I was so interested in making sure that all my documents in terms of voters card and whatsoever, my ability to vote was intact. I made sure I remained in the area where I would be able to vote. But by my own personal assessment, it was a bit below par, personally. So but I want to still give kudos to INEC and their entire officials. I know they tried, because on the very first day it was postponed, I saw that they were all in a meeting over the night. And I looked at myself and I said, look, these are elderly men meeting to ensure this thing works. So but we're just going to pray that things get better.
What's your suggestion or recommendation to INEC, security operatives and others?
All right, if you ask me for my suggestions, I would say one, let's ensure that they have their total grip on doing their job. Nobody should come in to interfere. They should be able to draw out their plans, and we give them the chance to allow them carry out those plans and implement them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, so that's the worst election I've ever seen.
Why now?
I'm not talking about the violence that marked the election. Look at the kind of rigging. Look at what happened here in Lagos. In fact, even in my street where I'm living, a senator in my street did not win even a ward in my street where I live in Ikeja here. Only for them to now come and tell us that he's the one that won this thing. So in fact, all of us, we are crying for what happened in this election. Nobody is happy. Till now, we did an election, but nobody is happy about it.
I think the level of confidence of Nigerians, on the process, on INEC and the security agencies really fluctuated, it dropped. Because people didn't believe in the process. After the date was set for the elections and mid-morning, I wouldn't say midnight, mid-morning, it was declared that the elections has been postponed. It further raised eyebrows, People who already said the process will be manipulated had to go back to their ideas and say they are trying to perfect what we have already said, So that's what I believe. I think there will be no process that will be devoid of any hitches or something like that, but it doesn't really mean. I think we'll still get there. The 2019 elections for me was not top notch. It was not top notch, so we could improve in it. We could improve on what we've done because
the first thing is to say this is not election.
Why?
At my age, I've never seen it like this.
Tell us more. What did you see?
It was stage managed.
How was it stage managed?
The people's choice were not taken.
Now tell us more.
Yes. The election at the voting stage was okay, but at collection center, that was foul.
What was the solution?
Solution. We don't have a government that will bring the solution yet.
Thank you.
I lost my voter's card.
You lost your voter's card? Why now?
I lost it now.
And plan say, as you don't vote, you don't lose.
Lose for what? I lose for what now?
I mean, say you didn't choose the person that become the president, governor, House of Assembly, and the rest.
Without my voting, Chebi is still the president. So what's it now?
So, but how would you describe the election generally?
How will I describe?
How will you describe the election generally?
Chebi. How will I describe? Because I don't even go outside. I was inside the house. I was in my room.
You had people's comment now. You had people's comment about the election.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
Is the election peaceful?
In my area, it's peaceful, but I don't know elsewhere. But in my own area, it's peaceful.
So you say the election is free and fair?
Yes.
You like it like that?
Yes.
The assessment of 2019 election?
Number one, it has come and gone. Then number two, I believe it's an improvement on the previous election. There can never be a perfect system, we should believe. And again, I don't know whether you want me to compare this election with advanced country or not.
You can do.
If I say I'm to do, am I comparing with the current, with when the advanced country started or where they are now? Because there's no how. When you are born, you crawl before you start running. You understand? So I think we still have a lot to do, but at any rate, we are on the right track. You understand? Because the electorate, they are now informed. You understand? And those that in the elective posts, they know that they must perform. Unlike before, that they bamboozle electorate, but now they know they must perform before they could now ask for people's vote. You understand? So we are on the right track. You understand? And I know we'll get there. You understand? So that's just it.
Thank you very much.
All right.
The people, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
What are those areas you think you want to advise INEC, security operatives, the government to work on?
I would want the INEC to actually ensure that whenever they fix a date for election, it should still actually be the same date they've actually fixed. And also the government should ensure that they treat the INEC officials well, even the officers that are actually around. Every one of them should do their work well and ensure that the election is free and fair.
Thank you.
The federal government need to sit down and look at it holistically. One, if you want to resolve this kind of segregation, in terms of appointment, if you look at social medias, the way appointments are being done, you look as if I am not a religious man. I don't believe that you must be so much from a particular religion before you are appointed. But if that's what the country needs, we need to reflect our appointments by tribes and by locations and also by religion.
Thank you. What will be your suggestion to INEC and to the government as an adult staff that participated in the election?
Okay, I think since they started going digital, we should try and go digital more. Like having people to be on long queues for a long period of time is actually discouraging. A lot of people could not even wait to the end of the queue and they had to go before it's their turn. So there are ways, I think they should make it digital. There are other ways to do it so that once you come, you don't have to be on a queue, you just vote. And they should also employ more hands because I think they're just trying to withhold the funds and stuff like that. So they don't have people to work for them. We can have a lot of people working or even the systems working and people just vote and go their way without worries or stress.
Thank you very much. The areas you want improvement?
The area that I want improvement is that the electorate, they have to be informed properly on how to vote, especially in the northern part of the country, where sometimes we are told that the kids were used instead of instead of adults to vote. And I don't know how true is that anyway, but those who got that fact, they told us that mainly the kids were used to vote instead of adults. So
you don't want that again?
No, that has to be stopped.
Thank you.
One has to be voter sensitization, you get, because I don't like a situation where I live in a country where you can buy votes with just about with a derica of rice or a carton of Indomie, for instance, you know. So people have to be enlightened. People have to be educated. People have to be informed that these are your rights. These are what you need to do. These are what you don't need to do. This is this. This is that. So that is one area, one aspect where I think the government has to be. You know. So another area is the area of security. I don't know why armed men and security forces will litter the whole roads because of election. Election is not war, for crying out loud. If the police cannot handle it, then what is the police for?
Thank you very much.
My advice I give for the government is that, to my own opinions, is that if they win you, Sam, I no need to carry that government go court. Sam, supposed to prepare for another election. Maybe it can vote for you the next election. But to go to court, it cannot favor you. And then you're supposed to step down and accept the winning.
Thank you. So what would be your advice to President Muhammadu Buhari?
My advice? You should be his prime minister. That's all.
So if you fulfill his promise, you'll be happy with him?
Yes, now.
What about the 2019 election? What's your assessment?
My assessment of the 2019 election is a fraud. It's an election that they do that this is where I was born. Nigeria, this election is for the very worst.
Why?
The reason why is that killing and so many things that they are doing. This next chairman that we produce is a very worst next chairman than Jiga. They are killing, always lie the way. I'm a Nigerian. I see what is going on in Nigeria. This Nigeria now is collapsed. This is Nigeria before that we know. We are living where before. This is the kind of Nigeria that we have right now is not in Nigeria. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean.
Welcome back. And this is how we call it today on your darling program, The People. Nigerians, they're talking concerning the aftermath of the 2019 elections in Nigeria. It is expected that all leaders elected on every platform will hit the ground running when they are inaugurated. It's like come your way again with another bumper package of your darling program, The People. I remain your host, Emmanuel Ajayi. God bless you and God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
People, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I don't buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure, this one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let change up. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis. Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well. You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure. He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about fortune.
Now, you see, let me
say
this. So that our soldiers will be free, we should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I don't buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure, this one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria.
If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let change up. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Another episode of your darling program, The People. Well, you may be wondering what I'm doing inside this market. I'm here to talk to traders and even buyers concerning the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari and what are Nigerians saying at this time. Right here inside Obadekombi, King's Market, Ogun State, Nigeria. Well, let's hit inside this market to feel the pulse of Nigerians concerning his second term bid. I'm talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. See you inside this market.
The people, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
Good afternoon. Yes, so, our market? Which market we doing?
International market.
Okay, now we President Buhari don't enter. You dey happy?
I dey happy.
Why you waiting make you happy?
Because everything, food, everything don't come down. For example, see this garri, now 300 naira for beans. See this one, 450. See the beans. Beans is 1,000 naira for beans. Well, no, is 1,500. A big rice, 1,150. White small rice, 1,200.
So you just say this beans don't how much?
If you don't come down now, paint before it's 1,006. Past 5 years ago, but now it's 1,000 naira.
1,000 naira
yes.
for paint. Which kind of beans is this one?
This one is drum.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
This one I will do in
This one is 1,500 for paint.
That's good. So now Buhari make a corner now.
Now Buhari na say Baba. Baba, we give glory to God.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see you inside the market. What are you doing here?
I come to buy things like rice, beans, and so on and so forth.
So what do you make about the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari?
We are happy, but we only want him to see to our own issue also, as we voted in him.
What issue?
To let everything come down. So it makes our roads, especially this Lagos-Ibadan expressway, let him repair it for us.
Market women say things don't come down now.
A little bit, not like before. We want it to come down more.
What is your advice to him?
Our advice to him now, make him help the poor masses. As we masses don't vote him in, we want to make himself see to our own issue also.
But whether I agree to you?
I agree to you too, sir.
So, how market now?
Fine, thank you, sir.
What do they sell for this market?
They sell food stuff.
Food stuff. So, things don't come down?
Not like before. Before we know many things were cheap. But now, they have increased a little bit.
Tell us those things we don't increase.
Like rice. Before, we know the time when pet of rice was 700 naira. We was buy pet of rice 700. But now pet of rice is still 1,000 something. So we want it to come down. Because we have seen many of the poor, they could not able to handle their family. But now, when many things come down, we know, and everybody will be happy.
You happy say Baba don't enter second time?
We give glory to God because everything in life is about the will of God. Maybe God think is the one that can do it very well, so he lets him be there.
Okay, so what will be your advice for him?
I want to tell him that he should not let the people to confuse him, and I also want to tell him that he should walk according to the will of God. He should not walk according to himself alone. Everything he wants to do in Nigeria, let him have the fear of God. Because everything with the fear of God, I believe everything will be fine.
President Muhammadu Buhari has won the second term bid. What can you say about that?
Congratulations to him. And I pray that his returning to the seat should be good to the masses. That should please do something for the masses. We masses are suffering. We traders, we need help from him. We are in Ogun State. We need the president to come to our aid by helping us. They are giving Lagosians, they are giving them money, whatever, to do their trade, as in assisting them. They should come to our aid. So we've not seen anything in Ogun State. The government should please help us.
So what will be your advice to him?
My advice to President Muhammadu is for him to follow up with his all his workers, those that he is heading, because he may be doing it and others, those that are following him, are not doing it. So he should monitor whatever he is putting on ground for the traders or the masses.
Yes, I'm really happy. You know, the reason why I'm happy is that if you don't know what this government have been doing, it is then you will not see the value of this government. Because this government, as far as I'm concerned, he has started rearranging some things from the foundation, which have not been there for a while. But now he's doing it. But since people are so concerned about what they are having or what they are not having now, they didn't know that the journey of 1,000 might start by taking steps. He's been taking steps in the right direction. Though it may be difficult, people may be shouting, but I know for entrepreneurs, we are still coming back to have the benefit of this government. I believe in this government. I believe in him. I believe in some of the reformation that he's doing, and I know we will get there very soon.
Are you happy that Buhari won second time?
I'm very happy.
You can't hold the mic.
Okay.
Are you happy that Buhari won the second time?
Very happy that he won.
Why are you happy?
Because I believe him. I know that he can do something in Nigeria today.
So what's your advice to him?
My advice to him is just he should be focused to Nigerians, because if he doesn't focus, there's a lot of distraction. So I want to be focused on what the plan that you have for Nigeria.
I'm very, very happy because I'm a APC member in Lagos State. My father's husband is Commissioner Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, which is Honorable Muslim for Lami. My own husband is PA to the Commissioner Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in Lagos State. So I was very, very excited. Next level, inshallah.
What next level are they giving us?
They are
saying next level of poverty.
No, next level of increasing many things. The road, health, schools, many things. This Nigeria will become a better place for us by God's grace. This next level.
Well, I greet you.
Good afternoon.
How market?
I'm fine.
Are you sure you're fine?
Yes, sir.
Since the move?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we worry don't enter second time. You happy?
God is great. It's going higher. The market is moving. We still give God the glory that we still alive. That the election successful, no more accident, no more robbing, no more killing, no more sharing blood, and we still give God the glory that we still alive again.
Yeah, actually the price is not too bad, though some things are a little bit expensive, while some are on the average side. But then afterwards it's not too bad.
The second term bid of President Muhammadu Buhari he has won the election. What can you say about it?
Well, we hope that things get better this time. Probably they'll be able to get it right this time, because the last term was not very good with people. A lot of people suffered. There was increase in price of things, but we hope that this time things will get better. At least we can get things at affordable and cheaper rates.
Advice to him. Your advice to President Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, my advice to him is for him to listen to the voice of the people. I'm sure the people are talking, but I don't know if it's getting to him. So I want him to listen to the voice of the people that voted him in.
To me personally, it doesn't make me believe all their testimony. Paying school fees nowadays, renew house rents, parents taking care of their children, husband being responsible to his wife is nowadays a very tight thing, and I will advise him as a father and as a grandfather, a great grandfather, to see to the economy of this country, to make things more easier for the masses, so that an average family will be able to feed his or her family, be able to responsible as a parent. Some husband has run away from the home because of the tight, how tight the economy is. Some wives have left children to her husband and ran because she cannot bear it any longer. Some businesses has closed, and yet we are hearing we did this, we did that. Until all this begin to reflect on an average Nigerian, like we that are in the market, we find it difficult. People that patronized us before, that buy things very well, they are unable to buy again. They have little money, they manage their resources. So let it flow. Let Nigeria enjoy themselves, at least to an extent, so that they feel the dividend of this democracy that we are talking about.
Did you vote for Buhari?
Actually, I did not vote for anybody. And I have my reasons. Most people, when you with all your strength, you want to vote. We are only going to do our PVC, we get injured. I was afraid. The Nigerian politics is turning to a masquerade.
They don't do it.
Oh no, I not talk.
Wait,
I not talk.
How far you? Why no good boy? They look fresh every day now.
Na God do. Na God.
You sure say na God?
They are no of God.
Now we Buhari don't win second time. What you get to talk?
I don't have what I have to say is that God will. In fact, God will take control. God will take control.
Why you? I know that God.
Because I so much believe in God. I don't believe.
Did you vote for Buhari?
Because I didn't vote. I don't have PVC. I tried to get. I didn't get. Yes, I tried to get. I didn't get.
So are you happy that you won?
If God says yes, who am I? So I'm happy. Yeah, if God says yes, who am I? If it is the will of God, let him continue. But if it is not the will of God, one way or the other.
The people, giving voice to the voiceless.
Wow, welcome back. This is how we call it a day. Very interesting time. Staying with traders and buyers inside Obadekombe King's Market, Opik in Ogun State. And you heard Nigerians there talking about the second term re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari. It is expected that this administration will hit the ground running and ensure that there is more benefits of or dividends of democracy in the country. Till I come your way again, I remain your indefatigable advocate for the people, Emmanuel Ajayi. God bless you and God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I don't buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria. If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
Cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I'm about fortune.
Now, you see, let me
say this. So that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is CoreTV.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
If you are not idle, nobody will probably come and encourage you to join their gang or the group.
Yes. To keep Nigeria one is a must that must be done. Nigeria is not going to break.
So if I don't buy this one now, how much you go sell this one?
I will give you 500.
Sure? This one?
Yes.
This small banana?
Yes.
I know that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria. If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News Broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And
that Buhari can do it. He has a lot of plans.
We should be praying for him. He's a human being. Anything can happen to anybody.
The majority of the law they pass belong to them, to favor them, not the masses in Nigeria. If we want to change, let's change generally. Don't let's change half. Let's change generally.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Another episode of your daily program, The People. I'm your host, Emmanuel Ajayi. On the streets, feeling the pulse of Nigerians on topical matters. This time around, we'll be talking concerning the aftermath of the 2019 elections in Nigeria. What are Nigerians saying? What is the assessment? Well, let's hit the street to feel the pulse of Nigerians on this matter. As I remain your host, Emmanuel Ajayi, see you more on the streets.
The people, the people, the people, giving voice to the voiceless.
What's your assessment of 2019 election and which areas do you want improvement?
Well, the 19 election, it has come and gone, and we discovered that there are hitches here and there, complaints here and there from the political parties, especially the major ones, the APC and the PDP. What I'm trying to tell you now is that as Nigerians, they have to try and settle themselves out, I mean the politicians, so that the innocent ones will not suffer anything. Yeah,
it's okay, but the first time they actually changed the election time, it makes some people to actually get worried, and they don't actually want to come out to do the election again. I mean, do the voting. And like I discovered the second time we did the election, people don't really come out to do the election, but I actually came out to do that anyway, and it was okay.
So, what are those areas you think?
Well, the election, if we compare it to the past, we will say it's fair. But there's so much insecurity and violence in this present election, and there's so much, it brought so much divide. We must be frank. This present election brought so much tribalism, segregation, and all that. And the president needs to do a lot of things to actually resolve those kind of divisions. We are more divided than we used to be. There is no togetherness in Nigeria anymore. The election has brought so much division, so much tribalism, and the way some part of the country are carrying themselves seems as if without them this country will not live. It's not going to be so. I grew up to see where tribes live together in one accord, whether different religions or so. There was no fuse at all. But now, we Nigerians now ask you where you come from, what is your belief in terms of religion. So the election and this prayer politics has brought so much division to the country.
I think it was fair and fair because I was actually an ad hoc staff during the elections, and I saw some zones and some areas, and I also had colleagues who were also ad hoc staff, and even those that went to participate. So I felt it was free and fair, but I think we can actually improvise more as a country because the queue were actually more in some places, and I think there are better ways the election can be conducted to get other people to come out to vote.
Generally, I think it was below my expectation on a personal note, because I had expected an improvement from the previous election. This was the election when personally I was so interested in making sure that all my documents in terms of voters card and whatever, my ability to vote was intact. I made sure I remained in the area where I would be able to vote. But by my own personal assessment, it was a bit below par, personally. So, but I want to still give kudos to INEC and the entire officials. I know they tried, because on the very first day it was postponed, I saw that they were all in a meeting over the night. And I looked at myself and I said, look, these are elderly men meeting to ensure this thing works. So, but we're just going to pray that things get better.
What's your suggestion or recommendation to INEC, security operatives and others?
All right, if you ask me for my suggestions, I would say, one, let's ensure that they have their total grip on doing their job. Nobody should come in to interfere. They should be able to draw out their plans, and we give them the chance to allow them carry out those plans and implement them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, so that's the worst election I've ever seen.
Why now?
I'm not talking about the violence that marred the election. Look at the kind of rigging. Look at what happened here in Lagos. In fact, even in my street where I'm living, a senator in my street did not win even a ward in my street where I live in Ikeja here. Only for them to now come and tell us that he's the one that won this thing. So in fact, all of us, we are crying for what happened in this election. Nobody is happy. Till now, we did an election, but nobody is happy about it.
I think the
level of confidence of Nigerians, on the process, on INEC and the security agencies really fluctuated. It dropped because people didn't believe in the process. After the date was set for the elections and mid-morning, I wouldn't say midnight, mid-morning, it was declared that the elections has been postponed. It further raised eyebrows, People who already said the process will be manipulated had to go back to their ideas and say they are trying to perfect what we have already said.